Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser. I'm here today to welcome you to Enter the Poseverse. It's been a while since I've actually gotten all of my books read, so I can talk about my top 5-ish favorite books from last week's New Comic Book Day. That way, you can pick them up if you missed out on this week's New Comic Book Day. So to find out which books make the list, you'll have to check it out after this.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Alright, before we talk about picks of the week, I am attempting to rearrange parts of my content schedule that I'm going to try and add a final order cutoff show on Sundays for indie books. I'm looking at finally getting season 2 of Comic Book This or That off the ground, so pay attention to my socials to see what I got going on. So, I know this book came out 2 weeks ago. My copy just came in from my LCS ordering it, and I just want to say, seeing a pull quote from my website on a book might be one of the coolest things that I've seen. So, I like that. Thank you. I really enjoyed Freak Snow number 2. It was as wild as number 1. So, I was doing so good at getting pared down to just 5 books every week, and this week I really failed. That I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. We'll go with 2 honorable mentions. So, honorable mention number 1 from Boom Studios is The New Day, The Power of Positivity number 1. I didn't know what I was going to really expect from this book. Like I said on last week's pull list video, I don't read a lot of wrestling comics. I watch wrestling. And I like this because it was an interesting story about each of the 3 members of the New Day and how they kind of came together. You get some of the elements of them versus the Shield. You see some of the attitude that the Authority may have had in their direction. So it was a surprisingly good read. If you are any kind of wrestling fan, I would recommend that you check it out. Honorable mention number 2 from Image Comics is Geiger number 4. I really enjoyed kind of watching the glowing man have to go across the wasteland. I also like the relationship that you start seeing him have with the 2 kids that he met in the glowing, or in the radiation suits, and the story this week reads very similarly to another book that I'll talk about in a minute, but Geiger continues to do well. So coming in at number 5 is Clans of Bellari from Aftershock. This originally wasn't on my pull list. I had 2 other people recommend it to me, so I picked it up and gave it a go. It's by Peter Blackie, Rob Blackie, Daniel Main, Carlos Lopez, and Taylor Esposito. You know, you're getting introduced to the goings-on in a new solar system, and a man who is a cargo pilot crash lands on a planet, gets rescued, and decides, instead of abandoning a child who also survived on the planet, taking her with him. And what you get throughout the rest of the book is kind of a father and adopted daughter relationship of learning about the system. It's interesting to see how much the father kind of espouses the rules of living in the system, and then when he gets called out by his daughter for kind of trying to play inside and outside of the rules, it forces him to think about some things, and you can see that she's well read and that she is going to probably be some form of revolutionary figure that wants to challenge the dominant order. Coming in at number 4 from DC is Swamp Thing number 5. It's by Ram V with art by, I don't know McRae's first name, but I know that it's Mike Spicer on colors. Yeah, John McRae's the artist, Mike Spicer on colors, and Aditya Bidkar is the letterer. So here we get an interesting, like, random fascists pop up out of nowhere, and we get, John Constantine playing his way in here as our new Swamp Thing continues to learn about his powers. It's really cool to see what he can do to some unexploded ordnances. I really like it. Like, this continues to be a very interesting and compelling storyline to me. I really wish that it was more than 10 issues in this run, but I'm really enjoying it, and I want to say thank you, Ram V, for getting me hooked into Swamp Thing. Coming in at number 3 from Black Caravan, an imprint of Scout Comics, is Tales Told in Techno Season 1, number 1. It's by Kieran Tegan, Christian DiBiari, and Simon Go. Like I said in the pull list video, you are getting, several 3-4 page horror stories that each have their own kind of artistic feeling, their own, movie poster, their own little bits of terrorific awesomeness. I really enjoyed this. I can't wait for the next one to come out since it's listed as a biennial. And then this is also the book that, if you have not picked up your AMKM Poser exclusive comic with the Nate Johnson designs, then you can check out the link in the description to pick yours up today. Coming in at number 2, I'm going to talk about this book that I just love it. Space Bastards number 7 came out. First reason why I love this is it's a giant-sized issue, and it didn't increase the price. At least I don't think. I think it's, $6 a week. If not, it went up a whole ass $1. And I'll appreciate that for 72 pages of Space Bastards goodness. But this does an interesting job focusing on Manny, who we see a lot of in the first issue, and then he kind of gets cast aside and then keeps popping his way back in. I like it because it's, all kinds of gore. You get to see Manny be Manny. I like this because there are different artists on this issue, and I really think the different styles in there are really cool. Like, I like, the second part, Nobody Beats the Manicorn, just because this story has a lot of, like, gritty, photorealism, or it feels like I'm watching Space Bastards, the animated film, which I would definitely check out. But this series continues to be amazing. I don't want to have to wait until the end of... I don't want to have to wait till September to get the next one, but it looks like I do. If you have missed out on the first arc, the other thing that you find is that the 31st of August is when the trade comes out. I highly recommend you pick it up. And then, there being something for everyone in here, maybe my buddy Greg, the bearded comic bro, on Wednesday, if we see the bearded bartender come back, we have a couple of cocktail recipes that I would love to see him try. But great, solid book. I love it every week, and it's hard for it to not be number 1 for me, but when you see that pick, you'll understand. Alright, so out of the 30 books that I read in the last, 16 hours, the one that continued to stick out to me was the book that I started the week off, or the weekend off with. From Boom Studios is Basilisk number 2. It's by Cullen Bunn, Jonas Scharf, Alex Guimarães, and this book is as awesome as the first one is. That we continue to learn a little bit more about the day that, you know, the woman in the mask arrived and the impact of her powers. We've learned that the different elements of, like, the group that she's with all have different superpowers that are based around a particular sense, right? The woman in the mask, hers is clearly sight, right? We read in issue 1, you know, she opens her eyes, looks at someone, and cyclopses the shit out of people. We meet a pair in a diner sequence where we have, I think Smell is one of the ones that we see use smell and taste. And this just continues to be an awesome story. I know that number 1 immediately went to his second printing. The exact same thing is true with issue number 2. So if you have not got on the bandwagon yet on Basilisk, then you better call your LCS to get it added as soon as possible. So those are my picks. What do you think? I'm sure you're letting me know in the chat over here. If you're watching this on the rewind, then let me know in the comments down below. But as always, y'all, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4,